Welcome into our very first Chat Lemon. I'm Jesse Goldberg-Strassler. Let me bring in the Director of Baseball for the Lemonade League, Chad Roskelly. Chad, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you. How are you?
I'm hanging in there. 5 games in. We've had our first rain out. We've had dramatics. We've had all sorts of wild games. What have been your impressions from the first 5 games of the Lemonade League?
I think they've been really good. Very competitive. I think all the games, for the most part, have been pretty close. I know there's been a walk-off. Those first couple games, I think, were just kind of knocking the rust off. A little bit sloppy at times. I know pitching was kind of all over the place and still kind of is a little bit. Just trying to find their groove. But I think that's going to improve over the next couple weeks. I know that the amount of hits in the game have been increasing. It seems like every game, guys are putting better at-bats together and even when they're not getting hits, they're still hitting the ball hard. Then it seems like less strikeouts. Maybe that's not the case, but they're more competitive at bats. It's not just swinging and missing at 3 pitches in a row. But yeah, it's been good. I'm glad it's up and going, and I'm glad we're 5 games in, and I'm excited to see these guys continue to grow over the next couple weeks.
I know how you and your coaches wanted to make sure that these teams were balanced. What do you think so far?
I think they're good. Very good. I'm actually almost surprised that it's worked out the way it was. We luckily haven't had to make any trades or anything yet. And yeah, it's been going good.
How competitive are the sides?
It's going. It's both sides are pretty competitive, and both teams are working hard to you can tell that they want to win, and it's not just like show up to the park and play your baseball and get out. These guys are trying to win, and it's pretty cool to see.
With the Director of Baseball, Chad Roskelly for the Lemonade League. We'll be joined shortly by the Lugnuts, Darryn Davis from Toledo, and the Locos, Kade Preston from Central Michigan University. Have you had any surprises so far in the Lemonade League, things that were different than what you were expecting?
Not really. No, honestly, I'm kind of surprised we haven't seen a home run derby yet, just with how close the games have been. But yeah, I think it'll come, and I'm excited for it to happen. I think the fans will be too, and I'm sure the guys are as well. But no, everything's been going pretty smoothly, I would say, which is awesome.
Let me bring in the guy who created the Lemonade League, Greg Kigar. And Chad, you can ask any questions if you're curious about things too.
Okay.
Greg, how did the Lemonade League come to be?
Well, it's kind of a long story. I mean, it started in March, and it's like, our Lugnut season is going to start maybe June, maybe July. What do we do in the process? And so Tyler Parsons and I kind of sat down, and we almost sat down every day to think of ideas. Obviously, first revenue producing, it's like, we have this beautiful stadium and field, and we need to do some things with it. So we bounced around a couple different ideas, and Summer Wood Bat League was one of them that was started from the beginning. And it's like, how are we going to make this happen? So through my many years of sports service in the state, I had a lot of connections with baseball coaches, college baseball coaches, and players. And so we knew at some point we just had to kind of let the rubber hit the road and determine whether it was even feasible. If guys wanted to play this summer, if coaches were going to send their kids anywhere. But we knew one thing is that if we were going to do it, it was going to be in Lansing. Guys who drive in, play, drive home, no hotel stays, nothing like that. So that's kind of how it was born. As we had, as the strict parameters were around us, we were going to be just as strict to keep guys as safe as possible. So we got the health department involved, and I talked with Coach Boss, Coach Jackson, and Coach Bishel at their 3 schools. And I just really took the first few days and asked them, hey, talk to your players that aren't playing anywhere, see if there's any reason to even get this started. So it started as simply as that, and things just kind of snowballed. And in the whole process, I'm trying to set this up knowing that at any point in time, our owner could come back and say, we're not going to be able to fund this. Because first thought was like, do we charge these guys? No, we shouldn't. We want everything to be as simple as possible, and we just want some competitive games getting played. And so again, with all the parameters around us, it was like, when do we start? When do we get everybody together? Knowing that the 3, 4, 6, 8 weeks into it, the number of kids snowballed. Actually, Kade Preston was the first guy that got back to me. And being a fellow Chippewa, I was really excited to hear that. So, but it was just one of those things that we knew at any point in time, and still at any point in time, this whole thing would get shut down. So we've been counting on the players and coaches to kind of do their thing and do things correctly and right, and knowing the health department's in. We just want a safe environment for these guys, and hopefully the experience that they're getting with all the other parameters are still something they'll remember for years.
Let's get right to the player perspective. Kade Preston, Central Michigan University. How did you hear about the Lemonade League?
So we just have a big group chat with is it working or no?
I'm listening.
Like a big group chat with our team, and Coach B sent a thing in saying that there's maybe going to be a league in Lansing. So hopped on as quickly as I could, and being able to stay home and being able to be only 10 minutes away from the park and have a competitive league, I was really excited and was hoping that it would get started.
Kade, you're playing for the Locos, playing for the Lugnuts. We also have Darryn Davis from Toledo. Darryn, how did you hear about this?
I've been heading to the field every day with a couple of my high school teammates that now play college ball. And Sean Haddelsey on the Locos, he let me know about the league. He asked me if I was interested, and I had nothing else better to do. So he gave me Greg Kigar's email, and I emailed him. That's how I got involved in the league.
Has this been, Darryn, what you expected it to be?
It's been more than what I expected. I really like, even though it's only 100 fans, I definitely feel like I can hear them, and they're engaged and they care about the game. And just being out there under the lights is really cool.
Kade, we hear about with the major leagues, with them pumping in crowd sound. What's the atmosphere like for you?
I think it's pretty cool. I know only the 100 people can be like not a lot in people's eyes, but the setup that the Lugnuts do have with the apartments in the outfield, there's been a couple games where there's been some rowdy fans up in the balconies and chirping some of our outfielders and stuff like that. So I think the atmosphere has been more than I expected, and it's been really cool.
Just heard Chad talk about just getting into it for players, whether it's been knocking off rust, getting back into feeling playing baseball. For you, have you needed to get any of your timing back? How's that transition been, getting back into playing ball?
Yeah, definitely with hitting, I struggled a little bit at the beginning, and then now a couple games in, I'm starting to get my timing back and starting to square for balls, and that's with everyone. Guys on my team, guys on Lugnuts, everything just seems to be a little higher paced, faster, and a little bit better baseball.
Darryn, how about you? Was there any transition from where you started to where you're feeling now, like you're getting back into how you feel playing ball?
I definitely feel it after a couple of games. Over the summer, I got to do a few live at-bats with a few of the college pitchers that I knew, but still getting in the box in a real game, it's a completely different feeling. It's not just whatever. There's a little bit more pressure, even though it's still summer ball. You still want to perform, and you want to put on a good face. But
Chad, let me bring this back to you. Assistant Coach Oakland, your season's shut down. Was there a feeling for you that very first game where you're thinking, this is what I've been missing?
Yeah, definitely. I would be lying if I said I wasn't a little bit nervous before the first game, just hoping everything went well and kind of seeing all the stuff pregame and making sure everything, the timing and everything was correct. But yeah, it feels good to be back on the field. And I know I haven't really been able to coach third or first, but just being down there and being at field level and just kind of hearing the players talk and seeing live baseball it's awesome. I'm a big fan.
Will we see you coaching at first or third?
I think the game that you actually weren't at, I coached third base. So I was at third base. If another coach doesn't show up one of these times, yeah, I'll probably be back out there.
You got the mill ready.
Yeah.
Greg Kigar, let me turn back to you. Talking about that very first game, how did that feel? The very first Lemonade League game that you'd worked so hard to bring this process to.
It was perfect. Typically you're at a baseball game, and Brian Calloway at the Lansing State Journal asked me the same thing about, did you really get a chance to sit down and really think about, the entire process? And I told him the same I'll say here. Typically you don't get that chance because there's 6,000-7,000 fans. And there's so much more to do that you really don't get that chance. And I found myself being able to sit down behind home plate and watch everybody and seeing names up on the scoreboard, recalling the whole process of getting them involved and finally getting their confirmation. And it's been great. It's so much fun to have this idea that you can throw around with your own team, you included, and just know that it's finally here. You get the wood bat on the ball, and probably one of the stranger things is as I'm sitting down the home plate, I can still hear you upstairs broadcasting the stream, and you never get that because there's so much buzz around. So, between guys chirping at each other on the field and you up there, and you hear a conversation going on out in the outfield with our 100 fans, it's a neat perspective, but to have it actually happen after hours and hours and hours of our own staffs talking about how we can make this happen, and being on my phone with texts and emails and calling guys and making sure that they're confirmed and seeing our numbers. And we're seeing what happened is we'd have a lot of players want to play, but we'd have 12 catchers and 2 pitchers and 12 second basemen. It's like, that still doesn't work. So everything kind of had to flow together because this sport, it's so distinctive on the types of players that you need. So I think we had a really good mix. Obviously, the first few games we've used a lot of pitchers, and the last thing I wanted to see is people get hurt. So we added a couple off our wait list the other day. We'll probably add a couple more off the wait list here this week if everybody can get their negative test back. And we'll just keep moving forward and watch Chad out on the field, making sure everything's going well, and keeping an eye on the players, making sure they're doing the right thing. So it's been a fun process, and I don't know if we're even a quarter of the way done. So, and we're hoping to add 2 more games. So that's what all I did today was reach out to coaches and players. Hey, if we extend the season by a couple of days, is your coach going to let you play? Because I've had some good news and some bad news. So I would love to field two teams and get those last 2 dates, and hopefully we can get those out public once we can confirm the number of guys we need to stick around to do it. So,
about players wanting to play, Kade, let me ask you. Once the league was announced, once the league started, did you hear from more guys curious about the Lemonade League?
Yeah. So basically, it was just me and Hiki at the beginning. We were both the only 2 from my team, and then Logan Butchkowski and Aaron Husson were both playing other places. And then once Traverse City Northwoods got shut down, they both contacted Greg, and got in the league. And then now even more so with all the weird games and everything that's going on with Kalamazoo and some other small teams around Michigan. A bunch of my teammates want to come play, and then me having my brother on Lansing Community College, knowing all those guys and stuff like that. So there's been a lot of buzz about it, which is really cool, and being able to say that I was like one of the guys that got to play in it, it's pretty cool.
Darryn, how about you? Have you heard from a lot of friends and teammates curious?
I have heard from a lot of friends and teammates. Unfortunately, a lot of them live around the Toledo area and down in southern Ohio, so they're a little bit too far. But I have also heard from a lot of family members who have clicked on the stream and watched a few of my at-bats, and it's pretty cool to hear about them and their perspective after the game. And they tell me about how they're watching and listening to you while you're commentating the games.
So, let me ask you,
cool.
Darryn, yellow baseball in the Lemonade League. Is it any different hitting a yellow baseball than hitting a white baseball?
It's hard to describe because the laces are still red, but picking up the spin was a little bit different in the first couple of bats. I've kind of settled into it now. I guess I could say I'm used to yellow baseballs, but it was a little bit different seeing the spin of a slider or curve compared to a white baseball.
Kade, how about you?
Oh, well, I'm actually colorblind, so it definitely was a little bit of a challenge. Seeing the spin, like Darryn said, and but I'm starting to get used to it and stuff like that. So are everyone else, and I think it was everyone kind of felt the same way. Just had to get used to it and just having fun with it.
I asked Chad about competitiveness. All right, Kade, you're a Loco. Darryn, you're a Lugnut. These have been close games. Kade, first with you. How competitive do things get at the very end of games?
I think it's like a different more competitiveness, but it's still really competitive with just like knowing everyone on the other team. And now a couple games in, me playing first and stuff like that, some of the guys I talked to at first, like Zaid and Mark and all those guys that I've known. And so it's kind of more for bragging rights and, of course, getting to eat first and everything like that. But I'd say it's pretty competitive, and it's more of a like just not as much atmosphere competitive, more just between the two teams.
You're a power hitter. Do you want to put your name forward for the very first home run derby?
No, I'm actually I'm a little nervous. I'd like to be like second or third. I'd like to see how the first one plays out and see how far the balls can fly in that stadium. It's kind of deep, so I'll let someone else take that burden and figure it out.
Darryn, power might necessarily not be up there in terms of your game with all the other different things that you do, but I saw the triple that you had last game. You crushed the deepest part of the ballpark. Would you be up for doing the home run derby as soon as it comes about, the very next one?
I don't know if I have the juice for that. maybe if the wind's blowing out, I can catch one, but we'll see.
Chad, would you step up there just to say before anybody else, let me show you how it's done?
I don't know. Maybe if you would have asked me that a year ago, yeah, I would have confidence that I could win that thing. But now, no, a little bit more sloppier now.
As we wrap up Chat Lemon, here's where we are in the present, but we do have a couple more weeks of baseball to go, and Greg's trying to add some games. So first, let me start with you, Darryn. What do you still want to accomplish before the Lemonade League comes to an end?
I'm really just trying to get back comfortable in the box, and I feel like I'm starting to settle in now. I just want to build on that consistency every single at bat. I don't want to put up a bad at bat. I want to put up strings of good at bats. And honestly, getting live reps in the field, you can't replicate that when you're just working out at your local high school, even though if you take 100 ground balls. So it's good to get those in.
Kade, how about you?
Same sort of thing, just getting better in the box and more comfortable being able to fight off pitches and get my eyes back to where I can bat a little bit more, leave some pitches with plate discipline and stuff like that. I've been struggling with that a little bit. So that mainly, and then just being more consistent and everything, and looking to keep having fun.
Greg Kigar, the man with the plan for the Lemonade League. What do you want to see in the remaining weeks of the league?
To be honest, I just want to see our guys out there playing. It's like I said, it could be done at any moment based on any number of things. So every day I get up, I check the weather and just move forward. And if we don't get any bad news out of the state, it's going to be a great day. And the weather looks good for this coming week. And I'm just really looking forward to just continuing to get guys out there and playing and hopefully in the fall and obviously next spring to keep an eye on all these guys that committed to us and seeing how their careers take off and hopefully what we did this summer will push them forward and make them better players and better people and who knows, maybe this is around next year and we might get some callbacks here in February and March saying they want to come back, and that's certainly not out of the realm of possibility to see if we can coexist in a normal year with the Lansing Lugnuts. So we're far from that, but you know, I'm an all-in guy, so I would love to see this move forward and do years and years of this. So, you know, I appreciate these two guys and the coaches and just coming forward and want to spend some time with us. So every day I wake up and there's no bad news out there. It's a great day.
Last word from the director of baseball, Chad Roskelly. Chad, in the remaining weeks of the Lemonade League, what are you looking forward to?
Just kind of what the guys said, just seeing guys get comfortable up at the in the box and just kind of keep things rolling into the fall. Obviously, fall is a big time of the year for these players, even though they're not necessarily playing real games. It's a good opportunity to kind of show what they've been working on and how hard they've been working over the summer and their off months. Granted, hopefully we can do stuff in the fall. But yeah, so just get guys comfortable and get things rolling into the fall so that they can do well. And I obviously I'm going to keep following them, and it's going to be pretty cool, I would say, following these guys and playing against them and just kind of seeing where they're at or where they go over the years, I should say. So, yeah, that's about it.
Are you developing scouting reports? When you come back, are you going to go, okay, now I know how to pitch these guys?
Hey, I may be. Yeah. Yep.
So this has been Chat Lemon. I'm Jesse Goldberg-Strassler. For Darryn Davis, Kade Preston, Greg Kigar, and Director of Baseball Chad Roskelly, thank you very much. LansingLugnuts.com. Check out the Lemonade League. Here we go. Games have been awesome.
Nice.
Thanks, guys.